welcome to another episode of Dirtcheapdaily. This is going to be an update episode on the wiring for the manual swap. I've had a bunch of questions about it. I first want to say that I'm not an expert on all Subaru's wiring. I'm an expert on the second generation Phase 1 Legacy wiring, because that's what the research that I did. I've had some people asking me questions about like an 04 Impreza, and obviously 04 and up, they change the wiring around a little bit. Find the wiring diagrams online. I know they're there. I know they're difficult to find, but do your research and find them yourself, because that's the only way you're going to get a manual swap to work, is you need to know what wires you're connecting. You don't want to just connect two wires together and hope it works, because you'll fry wires and you can blow sensors and even screw up your ECU. So do your research, figure out what wires do what, and don't just go off the colors or the positions of the plugs that I said in the previous wiring episode. Now, since that episode, I have made a couple of changes to my wiring. I was having some major issues where the starter wasn't getting energized. It would just click when I would turn the key. And so I came in here and made some changes. So this one here, the gray wire, I think I had a question on that a while ago. The gray plug on a Phase 1 2nd Gen Legacy is your reverse lights. So just connect those two together and you'll get reverse. Now the other one, the reddish brown plug, that's your neutral safety switch. And as it turns out, you don't really need it. So when I connected those two together, I could only start the car in gear, and I had to have the clutch in, obviously. But I think my neutral safety switch went bad because my reverse light is bad. The connections just on the outside just might have been screwed up. I got it out of the junkyard, and I don't really trust those two sensors. And so if it's working fine for you, that's great. I was having issues with it. I wasn't getting the starter to energize, and so I just jumped those two wires together. The two wires that I had plugged in to the brown or reddish brown plug. I've been driving it around for a couple of weeks with these two jumped, and I haven't had an engine code or any issues starting the car since then. So I would recommend just jumping that. Now that I've got all the kinks worked out in the wiring, and I for sure know that it all works how I want it to, I'm going to cut these butt connectors out and solder these together, heat shrink them up, tape them up so that they're watertight, and then I can reseal this whole loom here. Put a new piece of conduit over it and get it out of the way, because obviously I'm turboing the car. It's a really simple thing, and I'll just run over everything you need to do for the wiring just in the next 30 seconds so that you know what you need to do. Hopefully this will answer all the questions. On a Phase 1 2nd Generation Legacy, so 95 to 97 or 98 and a half. I'm not positive if the wiring on the Phase 2 2nd Generation Legacy is the same, but it should be somewhat similar. I know they changed plugs around and they went to a different style fuse. They went to the mini fuse instead of the larger fuse in the second half of 98. So do your research and figure it out. So this is your big 3x4 plug that used to plug into your automatic transmission. This is the top of it, where you have the squishy thing that you need to squish and pull out. So at the bottom left side, you have your two wires that you need to jump together so that you can start the car. The bottom right side are the two wires you need to splice into your wiring harness or your plug that goes to your reverse lights. Those will give you reverse when you shift into reverse. That'll turn on those lights. These ones will make it so you can start your car anytime. Doesn't matter if you're in gear or not. And then you also need to take out your TCU. So just unplug all the wires from the TCU, shove that loom out of the way, and pull that TCU out. That's all you have to do to change the wiring so that you have a fully functional manual swap. Really simple, but again, I'm re-emphasizing, do your own research. That's all you need to do, but obviously those pins and those wires might not be the same or in the same place on your year and body style. Find a wiring diagram for your specific year, if it is a phase 1 second gen legacy, you're going to be pretty confident that these are the exact same thing on yours. Even if it's a phase 2 second gen legacy, it should be pretty similar. The Impreza, I would assume it's going to be the same in the early 90s, but again, that might change. So find the wiring diagrams you need, print them out, put them in a binder. They're really good to have. It's really that simple. I just wanted to make this update because I've had a couple of people ask questions, and I have done a little bit of changes since the last video. So it's running great, super fun, no check engine codes, runs great, starts great, idles low like it's supposed to, and yeah, fully functional manual swap.